Good evening from the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your forecaster Jeff Monk looking at the planning outlook on the mountains for a week or so ahead. Looking at the summary, over the next 7 days, it's going to remain substantially dry, little rain at all. What rain does fall is likely to be in thundery in character and fall from the weekend. It's going to be warm by day, although over the Scottish Highlands, up until the weekend, it will be chilly at night with a touch of frost here and there. As we get further into next week, toward next Tuesday or Wednesday, it looks as if winds may turn westerly, bringing fronts and perhaps one or two areas of low pressure in off the Atlantic, although at this stage it is uncertain as to where they will go. In other words, whether the strongest wind and most rain will affect England and Wales or be further north. I've just got a few charts to show you because there's really very little happening. This is looking toward the weekend on Friday. It could be Thursday or it could be Wednesday, really. Very little change day by day. Northeasterly winds, very slack, blowing along the or down the North Sea, grazing the east coast, but actually as that wind moves westwards it tends to weaken, and western mountains from the Northwest Highlands southwards will frequently have very little wind at all, calm on some summits. The blue is an indication of that here and there will be the odd burst of heavy rain or thunderstorms. They're just, as far as Britain is concerned, showing up close to the south coast, but also in Ireland, over western mountains, and it's just possible that the odd one could go up over the West Highlands. It's western areas where they're most likely to form, because here it's going to be warmest in the afternoons, and also a weak sea breeze tending to come in off the sea will just meet that very gentle easterly, helping the air to rise. Convergence, as we call it. So isolated thunderstorms on Friday. The other comment about the next few days is that those northeasterly winds will bring low cloud onto eastern areas, but because the winds are so light, after penetrating some way inland, perhaps as far as the Pennines, the central belt of Scotland, overnight, fairly quickly the cloud will break back toward the coast during the day, leaving at least hazy sunshine over many mountain areas. Indeed, that sunshine strong with excellent visibility, even superb visibility on the Scottish Highlands, though further south, particularly I think Wales, perhaps the southern Pennines, more haze here. If we move on to the weekend, this is Saturday, slightly higher risk. This particular model shows a thunderstorm or a clump of thunderstorms over the Northwest Highlands. It may not be there, it may be a little bit further south, but really what it's trying to say is that here and there over the western mountains, the threat of the storm in the afternoons rises. Again, very little wind. And the same comments about that easterly wind coming into eastern counties of England and Scotland, bringing some low cloud, chiefly in the morning. On Sunday, perhaps rather more widespread bursts of thundery rain across southern Britain, possibly affecting South and East Wales, perhaps a small risk of it reaching the Peak District and Snowdonia. But further north is just those afternoon scattered thunderstorms here and there. Slight change in wind direction, with the high being a bit further east, will have lost something of the easterly, at least across Scotland, and something of a north or northwesterly coming in, making those showers more biased towards central Scotland or further east. Still not a lot of change on Monday. Gentle northerly winds, the thunderstorms here and there, probably down the spine of the country, and again, if anything, more so over southern Britain. The first sign of a change comes midweek. This is Wednesday, when it looks as if more general rain will be spreading in from the west, but as I said at the beginning, weather it tends to come in more towards Ireland with stronger winds, leaving Scotland dry, or as this particular model suggests, coming in rather further north, is at this stage uncertain. I've changed the model this time. It's one that tends, if anything, to overdo daytime showers, and I think though that area of rain down the eastern side, which is a collection of showers, is probably as bad as it will be, and there may be very little, if any, precipitation. Indeed, by the time we get to the middle of next week, trying to time the time of change is very difficult. In other words, it could be a day earlier or even a day later before there's much change in the weather pattern. So broadly then, finishing up with that general picture, it is going to remain dry on the mountains over the next week, apart from the odd thunderstorm, and indeed some mountain areas are going to remain very dry indeed, so where they've missed the thunderstorms over the past week and miss them over the coming week, there will be areas that are virtually tinder dry, so do be aware of a fire risk. So do enjoy the next week or so on the mountains.